40 years ago, well before even Sigmar Heldenhammer and Gal Maraz became the face and icons of Warhammer Fantasy, there was another who embodied the setting in all its unestablished glory. That character was Harald Hammerstorm, or Harry the Hammer, one of the first named heroes ever created by Games Workshop. All the way back in 1st edition, Harry is the very definition of OG, and as part of the Skulls for the Skull Throne event this year, he just launched as a playable legendary hero for the Warriors of Chaos, the newest free LC in Total War Warhammer 3. Now, looking at him, you might think this is a Cornate champion with the Berserker crest and blood red armor, but in truth, he is a Kurgan who owes allegiance to no particular deity and instead serves Chaos undivided, with some interesting traits and rivalries that separate him from the average Exalted or Chaos Lord. He is known as the Bane of the Undead, because deep in the ruins of Vorskar long ago, his mighty band of Chaos Warriors stumbled upon a tomb city, awakening an endless horde of skeletons. Fighting for their lives under the baleful glow of witchfire, they stacked the body count so high, it ended up looking like Aragorn in the shadow of the Dimholt Road, when he called upon Shades to fight for him and ended up almost drowning in skulls in Return of the King. Smashing a tide of deathless warriors to powder, he left that place with a special hatred for necromancy, and became so efficient at slaying skeletons, zombos, vampires, and all manner of creature of the night, that even spirits flee before him, and he can banish them back to Mor's realm with but a swing of his mighty hammer. In the source material, he could equip the Hammer of Harry, a weapon blessed by the gods to banish the souls of those he strikes, powerful enough to banish undead spirits from the mortal plane, the Armor of Damnation, highly ornate suit of chaos armor shimmering with unnatural energies that distort the position of the wearer so the enemy's blows miss their mark, and the Bane Shield, which discharges a magic blast every time it's struck, rebounding the enemy's blows back at them. So, with patch 3.1, he is a new legendary hero for the Warriors of Chaos, and we're going to test him out in battle for the first time. Looking at his stats, he is obviously a powerful duelist with a 66% AP majority, 450 weapon strength, which can be further bolstered by Heroic Killing Blow. He has Terror and Unbreakable, which is a super useful trait against the undead, because it means a late game Terrorgeist or Vorgulf or something cannot rout him off. Even more importantly though, he has this innate passive called Bane of the Dead, which is absolutely hilarious because it strips away the undead trait and lowers leadership of undead units, which means that he can terror out zombies and skeletons and other undead creatures. You're gonna see my live reaction to that in a minute. It's straight up glorious. 1600 base cost, can equip the Bane Shield for 10 more melee defense and a passive debuff that lowers enemy weapon damage, and the Hammer of Harry, which helps him wave clear big blobs of spooky scares when he gets surrounded, disrupting their formations and dealing AP damage. 70 melee attack, 60 melee defense when he has the Bane Shield equipped and all those debuffs, Unbreakable. Yeah, he's gonna be a really strong duelist and really hard to kill, difficult to get him off the field, especially if you can hook him up with some kind of healing. Now, to get a better look at his model in-game and general stats and playstyle, this is what we're working with here. 60 melee defense when he has that Bane Shield active. Unfortunately, he is not going to be able to take on Vlad von Carstein in a duel. I don't think. Vlad is a really good Footlord duelist, and I think it's actually pretty lore-friendly, because in the end times, our boy Harry got destroyed by Vlad von Carstein. Blood Drinker plunged deep into his chest, and he really had no chance to escape that one. This is how he met his end during Armageddon. If he wants to take on Vlad in a duel, he will need some help from a character like Archaon, Kolek, something like that, but he can make good account of himself, I do believe, and as I said, if you toss some healing his way, it's gonna be really hard to get him off the battlefield because he's unbreakable, and 60 melee defense is, quite frankly, a very high value, even for a character like Sigvald the Magnificent. So I'm very curious to see how he's gonna play out in a practical battlefield scenario. He is gonna be a really good choice against the undead. Not a lot of mobility, doesn't have any mount choices whatsoever, but he can tear out anything on their side of the field, which is awesome. All right, here we go. It's hammer time. Harald Hammerstorm going in. I hate those debuff icons, dude. That's so ugly. Like, look at that. It just completely drowns the unit. You can't see anything. Just a big gray cloud of mushy nastiness. I hate it. All right, Bane of the Dead. That's a -4 leadership penalty, and that'll be combining with terror once their leadership drops low enough. We can terror out stuff, I do believe. I haven't seen it in practice yet, but we're gonna drop the Hammer of Harry. That pins him in place for 1 second. Gonna drop his shield and then drop a huge hammer. Yeah, so it's more of a disruption kind of play. Doesn't deal tremendous amounts of damage, although that was oh, there it is! There it is! Oh my god, that is hilarious. Holy shit. That is amazing. What? Just an entire horde of zombies and skeletons routing because of one 2,000 gold character. That's awesome. Now, I want to see how he does in a duel against Vlad. This is a big test for him. I don't think he should be able to beat Vlad. He's a hero character, certainly nowhere near as important to the setting as Vlad von Carstein is, and as we know, Vlad is one of the strongest duelists in the game, at least on foot. There are limits to that. But looking at stats and the fact that he has no regen innately, yeah, he's going to be coming out on the wrong side of this for sure. But he doesn't necessarily have to beat Vlad, right? He just has to hold the line there for a little bit, provide that anchor so that someone like Archaon, anyone else can come in and reinforce. And obviously against undead, you'll have Chosen, you'll have Chaos Warriors, you'll have other tools to help whittle him down. And generally speaking, you don't want to be dueling Vlad anyway. You want to be leaving him for endgame. So yeah, it's not just from a lore perspective that Harald Hammerstorm shouldn't be beating Vlad von Carstein, Vashanesh. As we know in the end times, that is how Harald met his end, at the business end of Blood Drinker. But he has other things he can do against the undead, and this is an amazing mechanic. Terror routing zombies is just fun, dude. I think one of the first things I'm going to do when I get a multiplayer game in with Warriors of Chaos after patch 3.1 is go up against vampire accounts. Or a Coast, for that matter. So I'm going to try to position another Harry the Hammer. The problem he might have is getting into the middle of a huge blob like this one. Zombies and skeletons actually do have a lot of mass when they're grouped up like this, which makes some sense. So I don't know if we're going to be able to, like, literally get in the middle of the formation. I'll try to force path him through. The first one seemed to do good damage against the zombies, but that was just zombies. This is a decent amount of AP, this new ability. But let's drop one more nuke in the middle of this and see what we can... I mean, I bet we can cause a chain rout. I love that. That's delightfully cheesy. Everything around him just erupted like a volcano, and mass rout. They're all running for the hills, crumbling. Vlad is going to lose that duel to Archaon, which makes sense to me. And it's hammer time. MC hammer time, baby. That's awesome. Really cool model, cool abilities, unique traits. Would like to see from a free LC for sure. And I was not expecting this from Skulls for the Skull Throne at all. Awesome stuff from Creative Assembly here. I would like to see a couple more unique animations in melee for him, if possible. It seems like maybe only the Harry the Hammer ability itself is unique. Everything else kind of looks like those same reused Chaos Lord and Empire Lord animations we've been seeing since Warhammer 1. A little bit more flair there would be cool, but yeah, overall, model looks great. Undead will flee before him. What a beast.